My daughter said, "Watch the live stream." After I paid $40,000 for her wedding, my epic revenge shocked the whole family. My name is Margaret Elaine Brooks, Maggie to everyone who truly knows me, and I'm 63 years old. I've spent most of my life being the reliable one, the one who answered the phone at 3 a.m. when someone needed a ride from the airport, the one who brought homemade soup when a friend had surgery, the one who worked back-to-back 12-hour shifts in the labor and delivery ward so my children would never have to worry about money. I thought that kind of giving was unconditional love. I thought it was what made me a good mother. I was only half right. My daughter, Olivia Grace, came into the world on October 12, 1990, in Boise, Idaho. She arrived 2 weeks early, weighing just under 6 pounds, with a shock of dark hair and lungs that could shatter glass. Her father, Daniel, was a high school history teacher who coached varsity basketball on the side. He held her first and said, "This one's going to change the world." From the moment she could walk, Olivia proved him right. She was fearless, climbing the tallest slide at the park, negotiating extra dessert before she could spell her full name, organizing neighborhood kids into elaborate games where she was always the queen or the CEO. Daniel and I weren't rich, but we were happy. We bought a modest 3-bedroom ranch house on a quiet cul-de-sac in 1985, painted the kitchen yellow because it made me smile, and filled the backyard with a swing set and a vegetable garden. Life felt full. Then, when Olivia was 19 and home for winter break from her sophomore year at Boise State, Daniel was killed in a multi-car pileup on an icy stretch of E84. A semi-truck jackknifed, and everything changed in an instant. The settlement from the trucking company was $320,000 after lawyer fees. I paid off the house, set aside money for Olivia's remaining tuition, and put the rest in a conservative mutual fund for emergencies. I went back to nursing full-time, picking up every extra shift I could. Olivia transferred to NYU the following fall. "I need to get out of here, Mom. Everything reminds me of Dad." And I made sure she never had to take out a single student loan. I covered tuition, dorm fees, textbooks, a laptop, winter coats suitable for New York blizzards, Metro cards, and flights home for holidays. When she interned unpaid one summer, I sent grocery money. When she got her first apartment after graduation, I paid the security deposit and bought her a bed. I never kept a ledger. Mothers don't do that. Olivia thrived in the city. By 28, she was a senior digital strategist at a high-end marketing agency in San Francisco, earning low 6 figures with bonuses that sometimes doubled her salary. That's where she met Julian Harrington. Julian was 32, polished, and confident in a way that only comes from generational wealth. His father, Charles, owned half the commercial real estate in Marin County. His mother, Evelyn, chaired charity boards and hosted galas that landed on the society pages of the San Francisco Chronicle. They had a house in Pacific Heights, a weekend home in St. Helena, and a condo in Aspen. When Olivia brought Julian home for Thanksgiving 2 years ago, I saw the shift immediately. She talked about elevated experiences and curated aesthetics. She gently suggested I might want to refresh my living room furniture. "It's so sweet, Mom, but the new place Julian and I are looking at is mid-century modern." I smiled and nodded. I was just happy she was happy. They got engaged in April of this year under a blooming wisteria arch at a vineyard the Harringtons partially owned. Olivia FaceTimed me seconds after he proposed, sobbing with joy, the ring. A 3-carat oval diamond with sapphire side stones, catching every ray of sunlight. "Mom, it's everything I ever dreamed of. The wedding is going to be magical." The planning began the next day. They chose Aurora Estate in Sonoma County, an exclusive venue with 180-degree views of vineyards, ancient oak trees, and manicured Italian gardens. The base rental for a Saturday in October was $38,000, not including mandatory on-site catering at $250 per person. Florals, minimum $20,000. Lighting, sound, valet, security, and the wedding planner they hired at $15,000. The running spreadsheet Olivia shared with me climbed quickly toward $165,000 to $180,000. Julian's parents generously offered to cover the lion's share, but Olivia explained that they preferred to pay for specific prestige items. The celebrity photographer who'd shot several tech founders' weddings, the 10-piece band that had played a private Coachella after-party, and the vintage champagne for the tower. The rest, the venue deposit, day of coordinator, florist retainer, planner fees, and a long list of contingencies, fell to me. I didn't flinch. Over the years, I'd quietly built a nest egg. Overtime pay socked away, small inheritances from my parents, birthday checks from my sister Ruth that I never spent, the remaining settlement money invested conservatively. I wired $40,000 in 3 transfers between May and August. $15,000 venue deposit, $12,000 florist retainer, $13,000 planner and coordinator fees. Each time the money cleared, Olivia called or FaceTimed in tears of gratitude. "Mom, you're literally making my dream come true. Julian's parents are so impressed by how generous you are." I believed her. I was also preparing a final surprise. In July, when interest rates dipped, I refinanced the house one last time and cashed out $60,000. My plan was to transfer it a month before the wedding to cover any overages. The custom embroidered veil Olivia had fallen in love with on Pinterest, the late-night wood-fired pizza truck for the after-party, the fireworks finale she kept dropping hints about, and a buffer for whatever else arose. I even labeled the new savings account Livy's Perfect Day. The warning signs started small. In June, Olivia mentioned the guest list was capped at 120 for flow and intimacy. My side of the family, my sister Ruth and her husband, my brother Tom and his wife and kids, my 3 cousins who'd helped raise Olivia after Daniel died, didn't make the cut. It's mostly Julian's business associates and our San Francisco circle, Mom. Networking is important for our future. I swallowed the lump in my throat and said I understood. In July, the on-site guest suites at Aurora Estate were reserved exclusively for the bridal party and Harrington VIPs. Evelyn needs the accessible suite, and Julian's cousins are coming from London, Olivia explained. I booked a charming inn 15 minutes away instead. In August, Olivia asked if I could avoid wearing navy or black. The palette is sage, blush, and champagne. Darker colors pull focus in photos. I ordered a beautiful sage green mother of the bride dress from Nordstrom and had it tailored. The rehearsal dinner at the Harrington's Napa property was immediate family and wedding party only. I wasn't immediate enough. I told myself it was modern wedding stress. Brides get tunnel vision. I kept quiet and kept paying. Then, on September 23rd, exactly 25 days before the wedding, I opened my email and saw the message that changed everything. Subject: a loving update about our wedding day. Mom, Julian, and I have spent months envisioning the exact energy we want for our wedding. We're creating something deeply personal, intimate, and reflective of the life we're building together in California. After a lot of reflection, we've decided to limit the in-person guest list to the wedding party and a small group of close friends who've been part of our journey here. We know this might feel unexpected, but we truly believe it's the right choice for us. We've hired an incredible videography team who will produce a private, high-definition live stream with multiple camera angles, professional audio, and even a dedicated chat so you can send messages in real time. You'll feel like you're right there with us, and we'll FaceTime immediately after the ceremony and again during the reception so you can give a virtual toast if you'd like. We hope you understand this comes from a place of love and intention. We can't wait to celebrate with you in this special way. All our love, Olivia and Julian. I read it standing in my kitchen, coffee going cold in my hand. My chest tightened like someone had wrapped a band around my ribs. I read it again, and again. My only daughter was telling me I wasn't welcome at her wedding. I didn't call her screaming. I didn't flood her phone with texts. I sat down at the kitchen table, took a deep breath, and typed, "Olivia, thank you for sharing your vision so clearly. I respect your wishes completely and will honor them. I'll be watching the live stream from home with all my love and best wishes for your happiness. The day will be as beautiful as you deserve. Love always, Mom. I hit send, closed my laptop, and drove to the bank first thing the next morning. I canceled the pending $60,000 transfer. I closed the Livy's Perfect Day account and moved every dollar into a new one labeled Maggie's New Chapter. Then I went online and booked a 14-day small group tour of Tuscany, departing the day before the wedding. Cooking classes in Florence, wine tastings in Chianti, guided hikes through medieval hill towns, stays in restored farmhouses. Non-refundable. Paid in full. The backlash began almost immediately. Olivia called that evening, voice light at first. "Hey Mom, quick check. Did the final venue payment go through? They're asking for the remaining balance by next Friday, or the date goes back on the market." "No, sweetheart," I said evenly. "I haven't sent anything additional." A beat of silence, then, "What do you mean you haven't sent it? That's $60,000. The contract will be void." "I understood from your email that my presence wasn't needed in person," I replied. "I decided to extend the same boundary to my financial involvement. Julian's parents are covering the majority, aren't they?" She exploded. "This is insane! You're sabotaging my wedding over seating? It's one day, Mom, one day." "It's your day," I agreed. "And you've made your choices clear. I'm simply aligning mine with yours." Julian came on the line next, tone icy. "Mrs. Brooks, this is unacceptable. You're holding our future hostage over a stylistic decision. If you wire the money today, we're happy to reconsider your in-person invitation." I actually laughed. A short, surprised sound. "Julian, respect isn't something you reconsider when the invoice comes due. Enjoy your planning." The calls and texts escalated over the next 3 weeks. My sister Ruth phoned in tears. "Maggie, she's your baby. Don't let pride destroy this relationship. Send the money, show up anyway, and sort the hurt later. You'll regret it if you don't." My brother Tom left 3 voicemails about family legacy and thinking of future grandchildren. My cousin Linda, who'd driven Olivia to dance lessons every week for years after Daniel died, texted a long paragraph about forgiveness and turning the other cheek. Olivia's maid of honor, Sophie, whom I'd known since she was in pigtails, showed up at my door unannounced with a latte and pleading eyes. The venue sent a formal cancellation notice. The florist is threatening to sue for breach of contract. Olivia hasn't slept in days. She's heartbroken. She didn't mean to hurt you. She's just under so much pressure from Evelyn. I invited Sophie in, made us tea, and told her the full story, from the decades of sacrifices to the exact wording of the email. Sophie listened without interrupting. When I finished, she hugged me tightly and whispered, "I'm so sorry, Aunt Maggie. You don't deserve this." She left without asking again for the money. Ethan, my son, 29, software engineer in Denver, flew in the following weekend without telling anyone. He walked through the door, dropped his bag, and pulled me into a hug that lasted minutes. "I got the same livestream email," he said. "I told her she's lost her damn mind. Mom, you don't owe her another cent." We spent the week together cooking Daniel's favorite recipes, chicken paprika, homemade apple pie, watching old home videos, and packing for my Italy trip. We laughed until we cried, remembering Olivia at 6, bossing the neighborhood kids into building a castle out of cardboard boxes. Evelyn Harrington called once. Her voice was pure polished steel. "Margaret, I appreciate that emotions are high, but this behavior is unbecoming. A mature woman absorbs these minor slights for the sake of family harmony. For Olivia's happiness, please wire the funds immediately." I thanked her for her perspective and ended the call. Olivia herself phoned or texted almost daily. The tone shifted like weather. Anger, "You're ruining everything." Bargaining, "If you send half, we can save the band." Guilt, "Dad would be ashamed of you." And finally, icy silence. She never, not once, said the words, "I'm sorry," or "I was wrong," or "Please come anyway." The wedding, when it finally occurred, was a pale imitation of the original vision. Aurora Estate released the date to another couple. After frantic searching, They booked a private dining room and garden at a high-end San Francisco restaurant. Guest list 48. No live band, just a curated Spotify playlist. Flowers arranged by a friend of a friend. Catering downgraded to plated instead of stations. The custom veil was sold on a bridal resale site to recoup some costs. No fireworks, no pizza truck, no drone footage. I didn't watch a single minute of the live stream. I was 36,000 feet over the Atlantic, sipping champagne and watching the sunrise from my window seat. For 2 weeks in Tuscany, I lived more vividly than I had in 30 years. I stayed in a restored 14th century farmhouse outside Florence with 8 other women, widows, empty nesters, adventurers. We made pasta from scratch with a nonna who spoke no English but communicated perfectly with hand gestures and laughter. We tasted Brunello in ancient cellars, hiked through golden vineyards at dawn, wandered medieval hill towns where time seemed to stand still. I rode a Vespa for the first time, terrifying and exhilarating, and danced under the stars in a piazza in Siena to an accordion player who refused tips. I posted photos on Facebook, not to flaunt, but because friends had asked to see my adventure. The comments poured in. "You look 20 years younger. Good for you, Maggie. Living your best life." Olivia sent one message the morning after the wedding, a single photo of her and Julian cutting a small cake with the caption, "We made it work. Wish things were different." I didn't respond. When I returned home in early November, tanned, rested, and carrying 2 suitcases full of olive oil, wine, and handmade ceramics, everything felt different. I paid off the house completely with part of the $60,000. I established a $25,000 scholarship in Daniel's name at the community college where he'd coached. I joined a local book club, signed up for watercolor classes at the senior center, though I'm hardly senior, and started volunteering 1 day a week in the neonatal unit, holding premature babies whose parents couldn't be there. Ethan visits every few weeks. We cook together, garden together, watch football on Sundays. We talk about everything except Olivia, unless he brings her up. Olivia announced her pregnancy in March, with a sonogram photo and a group text. "We're expecting. Would love for Grandma Maggie to be part of baby Harrington's life." I replied to the group, "Congratulations to you both. I'm thrilled for you and can't wait to meet my grandchild when the time is right." Privately to Olivia, I added, "I will always love you and any children you have. When you're ready to treat me with the respect I've earned, my door and my heart will be open. Until then, I wish you nothing but happiness." She hasn't responded. These days, I wake up without the weight of someone else's expectations on my chest. I drink coffee on the back porch, watching the roses I planted last spring bloom. I've booked a Danube River cruise for next summer, and a hot air balloon ride over Cappadocia the year after. I laugh louder, sleep deeper, and say no, without guilt. I learned at 63 that love isn't a blank check. Support isn't an endless subscription others can downgrade when inconvenient. Boundaries aren't punishment. They're the architecture of self-respect. My daughter wanted a wedding without her mother's shadow. She got exactly what she asked for. And I got the rest of my life, vibrant, unapologetic, and entirely my own.